I gave this company till January 7th, 2019. January 7th, 2019 was the day. The day that we needed to see change. A day in which we needed a new start for Monday Night Raw. This company promised change. They had all these weeks during the holidays to come up with something new, something fresh, something exciting to really live up to that word, change. You know, Monday Night Raw has been under the 3-hour format for 6 years. 6 years is a long fucking time for anybody. 6 years of just atrocious fucking television. The quality of this show is absolutely subhuman. I don't give a fuck what anybody says, but there's always a select few who come up with a new excuse every fucking week about why this show is the way it is, and the lame excuse of, well, if you don't like it, don't watch. It's made for kids. They're not here to please the hardcore fan. All this other shit that you hear week in and week out every time I do my job. Stephanie McMahon showed up on Monday Night Raw and uttered the words, "This is a new era. We haven't been doing our jobs correctly. We haven't been doing right by the fans. Change begins tonight." That's what I heard. I'm still waiting on the change. I'm still waiting. If this is what you call change, you're a fucking fool. A fucking fool. If someone can find the change in this 3-hour fucking piece of garbage last night, please, someone approach me and let me know where it is. Because I can't find it. I didn't see 1 ounce of change on this entire fucking show. In fact, the best part of the show came from a guy that most of you chastised over honoring his friend. This show was very telling last night. Very telling for a lot of reasons. 1, there is no change. 2, the Raw roster looks as bleak as ever. Number 3, Hulk Hogan was the best part of Monday Night Raw, a guy that you didn't even want there. Number 4, Braun Strowman last night showed you every fucking reason why he is never going to be the man in WWE. Braun Strowman is an absolute one-trick pony that will go nowhere in this company. I don't have any interest in seeing Braun Strowman in a major title program ever again after what we seen last night. Number 5, all you have to do is watch this show. And when you hear Kenny Omega is signing with All Elite Wrestling, you can reference this show and come to a conclusion as to why he made his decision. This show was fucking garbage. There's nothing positive that came out of this show at all. Nothing positive about this show whatsoever. Nothing. And you'll have the people coming up with lame excuse after lame excuse after lame excuse. You'll have these fucking pussy content creators coming on here trying to find the good and trying to find the change. And then they'll turn it around and spawn it to their fucking audience. Oh, look, guys, change. Where the fuck was it? Where was it? I didn't see it. I'd love to know what the fuck you're watching. Because I didn't find any change in that 3-hour atrocity known as Monday Night Raw. This show was very telling, folks. Very fucking telling. We're going to go over everything right here on the podcast. I told you, January 7th. I am not holding back on burying this show when it needs to be buried. This is a new year. I expect new faces, new change, new direction. We need WWE to open up to what is going on in the wrestling industry. Apparently, they are so comfortable in their own bubble that they are jeopardizing everything on Monday night. Jeopardizing the quality of the program, jeopardizing the fans, completely giving up if you have not done so already. It's a sad state of affairs, folks. A sad state of affairs, and I'm going to be here to open your fucking eyes about everything that happened on Monday Night Raw. First of all, if you guys missed off the script, we went over literally everything from this past weekend. Wrestle Kingdom 13, full review and all the news that came out of that show. That was Friday's show. Saturday's show, everything you guys need to know about All Elite Wrestling. I will be covering the fan rally today in Jacksonville, Florida. I will be live on Twitch, just going over everything, watching it live, breaking it down live for you guys on Twitch. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitch, the link is in the layout of this very podcast right here on YouTube. JD from New York on Twitch. Join me over there. I'll be live as the rally goes live at 5 p.m. Sunday, we talked about Hulk Hogan and why there was fan outrage over him being there on Monday Night Raw. I don't know why. I didn't say I forgave Hogan. I didn't side with Hulk Hogan. But all I did say was he deserves to be there to honor his friend and nothing more. And he gave a beautiful tribute to Mean Gene Okerlund that I'm sure Gene would have been incredibly proud of. So if you guys missed any of that, links are in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. Go and check all that stuff out. Off the Script killed it this weekend. Thank you guys so very much for all your support on the channel this weekend. Make sure you guys follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206 on Twitter. Same thing as Instagram. Twitch, like I said, today for the fan rally with All Elite Wrestling. Will Kenny Omega be there? JD from New York on Twitch. And hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications, man. Thank you guys so very much. Let's get into the show, man. Monday Night Raw started off with what I thought was going to be real change. We didn't get a generic open for Monday Night Raw. It was sort of chaotic on Monday Night Raw. Yes, it was between characters that we just genuinely don't have any investment in right now. Seth Rollins, maybe, but Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins opened up the show to start a huge brawl that broke out in the back in Gorilla on the stage, and it took a bunch of security and a bunch of WWE officials to break this thing up. Rollins and Lashley supposedly have been feuding for months. I don't really understand where they have been feuding for months, but apparently this is one of the major programs right now on Monday Night Raw. Put me to sleep, hand me a pillow, I don't care. I don't care. So last week, Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins battled one-on-one, and Triple H said last week, you can find your way back to Dean Ambrose and the Intercontinental Championship if you defeat the almighty Bobby Trashley. He did not do that. He lost. So Bobby Lashley, I guess, attacked Seth Rollins for the attack last week. So here we are opening the show in a sort of chaotic manner. I can appreciate that. It wasn't a long-winded segment. We didn't open the show with someone in the ring conducting a 25-minute interview. We didn't have the McMahons in the ring spewing more lies and garbage and bullshit about a new era and a new change. This was a nice change of pace for the open of Monday Night Raw. The thing is, WWE gave you a drop of change, and it was not enough to wet the palate of everybody watching. This led to what we usually get on Monday Night Raw, and it led to nothing as far as change goes. So I can appreciate the effort, but the effort went nowhere. So as soon as all this happens, they get pulled apart, and John Cena makes his way out to the ring as if the brawl meant absolutely nothing. In fact, John Cena came out while they were still pulling Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins apart. It was just one thing after another. And when things like that happen, it makes the segment before it seem that much more unimportant. And to me, right now, Rollins and Lashley serves as unimportant. So we go to John Cena in the ring. John Cena's back on Monday Night Raw. When you look at John Cena, I don't think of change in 2019. This is nothing more than a cheap ratings grab. This is WWE going into the cookie jar. But the thing is, the cookies are incredibly stale. This is WWE's cookie jar. Let me go in and reach for John Cena. Let me reach for The Rock. Let me bring back Hulk Hogan. Let me reach out to this guy, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Undertaker, Kane. Instead of pushing their own talent on their shows, the younger talent. So this was nothing more than oh look, we're live. This is the first show of the new year. Let's bring back John Cena. He did nothing on SmackDown Live. I don't know, a lot of people somehow enjoyed his interaction with Becky Lynch. I didn't see it do anything, really. You don't need John Cena to put over everybody else on the roster. That's a tired concept. So John Cena's back, and everybody was wondering what he was going to do. I even heard rumblings that they're in Orlando. Right? They're in Orlando. Orlando, you think NXT. You think Full Sail. You think the PC. And then you think about who had called out John Cena for a possible WrestleMania match. I was thinking maybe EC3 would come out and confront John Cena. Now that would have been a nice change of pace. That would have led to the change that we were promised. New face, new direction, getting someone over in his first night on Monday Night Raw. Did WWE do any of that? The answer is no. They didn't do any of that. So John Cena's in the ring. What the fuck is he in the ring for? Takes the microphone, and this is what John Cena had to say in his return to Monday Night Raw.
You see, everybody here knows that on the road to WrestleMania, there is one match.
Him and his silly fucking haircut.
Any superstar can grab that golden ticket. The golden ticket to a main event championship match of the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. And that is the Royal Rumble. In life, nothing is given away. Nothing is handed to you. You work hard and you earn every inch. And I plan on earning my golden ticket. Right now, I am officially entering myself in this year's Royal Rumble match.
Man, it seems like anyone with a microphone nowadays can enter themselves in the Royal Rumble. Guys, I have a major announcement today. I am entering myself in the 2019 Royal Rumble. What's with these lame announcements for the Royal Rumble? You know, back in the day, you used to be surprised as to who's in the Royal Rumble. Why is everybody coming out announcing that they're in the Royal Rumble? Like, I don't give a shit. Show up on January 27th in the Royal Rumble. You got wrestlers now, WWE's got wrestlers now going on house shows announcing that they're in the Royal Rumble. Like, I don't give a shit. And Rollins did the same thing this past weekend at a house show, announcing himself in the Royal Rumble. And I'm going to go over exactly what he said, which led to Monday night and don't make any sense whatsoever. But everybody with a microphone now and everybody within earshot can enter themselves in the Royal Rumble. Guys, I am entering the Royal Rumble for 2019. I'll be in Arizona at Chase Field. Whatever number I draw, I'm just happy to be there. So John Cena's in the fucking Royal Rumble. I'm actually surprised by this because I read that John Cena and his schedule was going to be very, very iffy with the WWE. But I did also hear that if WWE wanted John Cena in the Royal Rumble, that it's a match that would not really jeopardize his commitments to Hollywood. It would not be a match in which he has to stress too much about. Punch, kick, throw someone out over the top rope, sit in the corner for a little bit. Not really going to, over push John Cena to a point where he could potentially get injured and then not live up to his commitments in Hollywood. So I was surprised by John Cena announcing that he's in the Royal Rumble. Is John Cena going to win the Royal Rumble? Of course not. John Cena has no business winning the Royal Rumble in 2019. But what I did find interesting was what happened after this announcement that he's going to be in the Rumble.
Man, I'm fired up.
John Cena, you are the greatest of all time.
Drew McIntyre comes out. No EC3, but it's a nice second place.
My point is this, I don't know if you've been following the product and keeping up with things, but I have a reputation for taking out the greats, and maybe you can do some research. Maybe you can check with the Shield. Oh wait, no, I single-handedly dismantled the Shield. Maybe you can check with Dolph Ziggler. No, I destroyed Ziggler in a cage match last week. I've got one for you. How about you phone your friend Kurt Angle? He will tell you what I'm capable of because I didn't just beat him. I humiliated him. I made him cry. I tapped him out to his own ankle lock. I am the most dangerous man in WWE, and John Cena, I've come for you now.
Now, I was intrigued by this. I was intrigued by Drew McIntyre coming out. This is new. This is fresh. The only thing I did not like about this is, well, you know, it's pretty cheap of WWE to have John Cena there and to have him in a program with somebody else to merely put that individual over. We've seen that time and time and time and time again. And it's boring. But Drew McIntyre, A, his intensity is top-notch. B, he's a great promo. C, McIntyre versus Cena is something that I would genuinely be interested in. So McIntyre's out there, and his intensity is going to bounce right off of John Cena, and John Cena's going to take that and throw it right back in his face. And what John Cena did was cut a promo worthy of a serious John Cena promo. I enjoyed this segment, and I enjoyed what John Cena had to say after Drew McIntyre came out threatening Cena in the beginning of Raw.
Guys, I was feeling pretty good. Started the show with a brawl, came out here, amazing noise, you guys were into it. And then this. And now I'm sad. Because what's really sad about this is, Drew, I've heard the same thing every week from practically every single superstar. So much so that I had to leave so you guys would shut your mouth and think of a different promo.
Ooh. Man, I love John Cena. I thought that was great. Just the fact that he set that up and pretty much threw it right back in Drew McIntyre's face. I loved it. I thought that was great. And I'll tell you what I'm thinking about in a second after John Cena concludes this promo.
What makes you any different than anyone else?
All right. Maybe I could give you the same old, I know you want to pass the torch, and I'm going to take it, or I could keep it this simple. They were all talk. I'm going to bloody show you.
How many torches does Cena have to pass?
Listen.
So Lashley comes out.
This show is officially canceled until somebody does something about Seth Rollins. Right now,
Then Rollins comes out and attacks Bobby Lashley. So we got McIntyre and Cena also brawling in the aisleway with Lashley and Rollins. And this is where I have an issue with the start of the show. So Dean Ambrose is out now attacking Seth Rollins.
Into the fray. McIntyre as well.
The chaos continues to kick off Monday Night Raw.
Cena and McIntyre and Ambrose and Lashley and Rollins
There's utter pandemonium at ringside.
So they're all brawling at ringside. And then Finn Balor comes out, and he runs down the aisle to make the save and even the odds. So we get all of this leading to a generic six-man tag to open Monday Night Raw that meant absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So let's look back at the order of events. The show starts off with a little bit of chaos, right? We got Lashley and we got Rollins, and they're brawling to open the show. This leads to John Cena and Drew McIntyre, and then we get a six-man tag. So WWE tried to give you something a little bit different, then quickly reverted back to what they usually do best: generic garbage. Now, I didn't expect John Cena and Drew McIntyre to do anything as far as the match goes. I was actually thinking about maybe WWE saving John Cena for WrestleMania and a match with Drew McIntyre in what they are going to call a passing of the torch match. I don't mind that being John Cena or Drew McIntyre's WrestleMania match. It's certainly better than what's rumored right now for Drew McIntyre, and the only name I hear associated with Drew McIntyre is Braun Strowman. That is not a match, A, worthy of WrestleMania for Drew McIntyre. B, if Braun Strowman somehow wins the Universal Championship, I don't think that is a championship match worthy of WrestleMania. So if you're going to ask me and put a gun to my head, which match would I want for Drew McIntyre, I'll take John Cena every single day of the week. So John Cena right now, he's being linked to The Undertaker. I'm hearing rumors of John Cena and The Undertaker again at WrestleMania. What makes you think anybody would want to see that match after last year again anyway? There's unfinished business there. I don't give a fuck. My business with having any interest in that has died along with that match last year. We don't want to see it. Nobody cares. Move The Undertaker on to somebody else. John Cena, I think Drew McIntyre would be a perfect opponent for him at WrestleMania. The only thing I don't like is WWE using this as a way of passing the torch, using Cena to come back and put someone else over. And this is the same old tired formula with these part-timers. They come in, they put someone else over, they disappear for another 6 months, rinse and repeat. So where does Drew McIntyre go from there? Maybe this is what they do, because I don't see WWE using Drew McIntyre or Braun Strowman in the Universal Championship. Braun Strowman clearly is not the guy. He was ready. Now he's not. Drew McIntyre, I don't want to put him in that mix yet. You could still find some room to build him up and level him up to a point when you know he is ready. He's almost ready. Almost ready, but not there yet. Wait till SummerSlam. That's when I think Drew McIntyre might be ready to take over Monday Night Raw. But John Cena and Drew McIntyre, I think, is a really, really, really nice way for both guys to get on the WrestleMania card. That's just my honest opinion. So we go to this six-man tag. We got Bobby Lashley, we have Drew McIntyre, and Dean Ambrose. 3-on-3 against John Cena, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins. This meant absolutely nothing. Finn Balor meant nothing. Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins, who gives a shit? John Cena's there. Finn's got an issue with Drew McIntyre. You got the issue with Rollins and Ambrose. That's pretty much what it boiled down to. Rollins and Ambrose. In the end of this thing, Rollins goes for a frog splash. Drew McIntyre rolls out of the way. Ambrose tags in, grabs Rollins, tries to apply quickly dirty deeds, but it's blocked. Rollins comes back with the stomp on Ambrose, pins the Intercontinental Champion 1, 2, 3, and that was pretty much it. Other than that, this match served absolutely zero purpose, and like I said, WWE attempted change, but went right back to giving you a generic open for Monday Night Raw, which resulted in a meaningless six-man tag that I lost interest in pretty much halfway through. Not saying that it wasn't a good match by Raw standards, but it means nothing. This does not excite people for what's to come for the rest of the show. This does not signify change. This is the same shit that WWE has done all through 2018. Can we try a different fucking formula? So what we've seen for the first 40 minutes of this show was nothing. A generic 6-man tag, no new theme music, no new set, no new fucking look for graphics, same old boring fucking commentary. How has this changed? So on the first live show of the new year, 1 hour in, I see zero change. I love for one of these fucking idiots on YouTube to find the change in this open. They tried, but failed. So Rollins, after the match, looks at the Titantron. We see Sasha Banks and Bayley talking to Triple H. Triple H is in the building. We didn't see Vince. We didn't see Stephanie. We didn't see Shane. Triple H is in the building drinking coffee, chit-chatting with Sasha and Bayley. We can't hear what they're talking about, but Rollins is looking on the screen, and from what I gathered here, Triple H wasn't watching what Rollins was doing in the ring, so he got upset by this, ran to the back, hunted down Triple H, and got in his face, knocked the coffee right out of his fucking hand, and he runs to the back. He wants Dean Ambrose, and he wants Dean Ambrose and the Intercontinental Championship tonight. Triple H says that Rollins has Ambrose if he wants him tonight in a Falls Count Anywhere match, meaning that there's no rules, meaning that they can brawl all over the arena and do whatever the fuck they want, meaning that this should have been the match at TLC. This is just WWE's way of cleaning up the mess that was that horrendous match at TLC. Also, I don't think there's anybody watching this show that didn't realize, well, it's no rules, and Rollins has been feuding with Bobby Lashley, and they had that semi-hot open to open the show. We'll probably end up seeing Bobby Lashley in the main event, costing Seth Rollins, once again, the Intercontinental Championship. But that's the only time we've seen Triple H all night. Moving on from that, they quickly went right to the Mean Gene tribute. I am going to play what Hogan talked about here on the podcast because I feel like I have to. This was probably the best thing on the entire show, and I'll give my thoughts after you guys listen to what Hulk Hogan had to say about his longtime friend, Mean Gene Okerlund.
You know something, guys? I came out here wide open tonight in character because that's exactly the way Mean Gene would have wanted it. I want to let all you guys know, Mean Gene loved entertaining, and he loved entertaining everybody here in the WWE universe. Mean Gene loved entertaining more than anything that he did. You know, guys, I got to tell you, being out here in the ring without Mean Gene, it's not, you know, he's not here, but he is right here. He's right here, man. I love you, Mean Gene. I miss you.
At this point, Hogan was starting to tear up, and he put his glasses on his head. He put his glasses down over his eyes because he didn't want people to, I'm assuming, see him tear up because that's not Hulk Hogan.
Well, let me tell you something, Mean Gene. I know exactly what you're doing, brother. You're up there, and all the angels are singing Tutti Frutti on top of those big white clouds. I know that you're putting the greatest tag match together, brother. The tag match between the Macho Man, ooh yeah, Randy Savage, and the Ultimate Warrior versus Roddy Piper and Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, man.
I also know that Andre the Giant is a special referee, brother. And I also know you're probably breaking up a fight between your close personal friends, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, yeah, man.
And you know something, Mean Gene? I heard those weights clanging and banging up there at the pearly gates. And brother, you don't have to get so swole up. You've only got a choice between Moolah and Mae Young, brother. So Mean Gene, I guess there's just one question left to ask all the maniacs up there, brother. What you gonna do when Mean Gene Omania runs wild on you, brother?
I thought that was an excellent segment. It did what it needed to do. Mean Gene would have been proud. The video package itself for Mean Gene was one of the best I think that WWE has ever done. It was something that, and I mean this wholeheartedly. If you watch that, I grew up with the WWE in the 80s, man. I'm a lifelong fan. You know, with everybody that Hulk Hogan mentioned there, the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Roddy Piper, Mr. Perfect, Mean Gene, Bobby the Brain, Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse the Body Ventura, all these guys were a part of my childhood, okay? So when you seen them all depicted in this video package, and you seen how Mean Gene loved the business and loved what he did, it's very difficult to not tear up just because of how happy that time made us, how we were all children, and that shit brought a smile genuinely to our faces, man. 100% genuine happiness as a child watching that shit. And I teared up watching that video package, and, you know, Hulk Hogan, I thought, blew it away. I loved his ending there. You know, brought back just how great everybody was that he mentioned, how we miss all of them dearly. And it was so simple, and this is what I made mention of on Off the Script on Sunday. This is exactly why I wanted Hulk Hogan there. There's no matter what the man did wrong, no matter if you are still condemning him, that is your right to still be angry with him. That is your right to still condemn him, right? And, you know, to be perfectly honest, I mentioned this on Off the Script. Yes, there is somewhere in my mind where the conspiracy theories are running wild, that they're bringing Hulk Hogan back to use, you know, this opportunity with Gene's death to slowly bring him back and integrate him to television. I hope that is not the case. Yes, I understand that this is not the first time that WWE would have exploited a death. They did it with Eddie Guerrero. They did it with Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Same shit. Okay? So the conspiracy theories were running wild with me. And yes, I thought that. And yes, I do still think that. But for one night, no matter if that happens or not, for one fucking night, let this guy go out there and do what he has to do for his friend. And in the end, it ended up being the absolute best segment of the entire show. And for everybody that chastised Hulk Hogan, I find it very hard to believe how you could not like what he did there. I don't understand it. It's over now. It's over now. Hogan came back to Monday Night Raw. He came back to Monday Night Raw to honor his good friend Mean Gene Okerlund. It's all over now. There's no need for Hulk Hogan to be back on Monday Night Raw. There's no reason for Hulk Hogan to be in a WWE storyline. Hulk Hogan will probably be at WrestleMania. I'm okay with that because when you think WrestleMania, you think Hulk Hogan. Whether he's a special guest, whether he is a host, whatever the case, as long as he is not being integrated into WWE storylines, an announcer, a commentator, a fucking GM, part of the McMahon regime, I don't want any of that, nor is it necessary. This was perfect. Now we can move on, and hopefully WWE does the same. I did mention on social media, you got fucking pussies like Ryan Satin out there doing what they do, pushing a fucking political agenda when this should be about Gene Okerlund. This was not about Hulk Hogan. This was all about Gene Okerlund. I would love to know what people like Ryan Satin thought after they fucking publicized their feelings about Hulk Hogan and how he shouldn't be there after how well this segment came off. What are they thinking now? Guys like that, they come out beforehand, shit all over it to push a certain agenda, and then when it goes not how they expected it to go, you know, and good as we all thought it would, they probably turn around and turn the other cheek and actually follow what everybody else is saying. Oh, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. after you publicized just a couple of days ago how you didn't even fucking want him on Monday Night Raw. Fuck you, man. This was perfect. Absolutely perfect. And now we can move on from it. Simple. Simple, 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 simple. Moving on, man. We went from Hulk Hogan and Mean Gene, the tribute, to the Lumberjack match for the Raw Tag Team titles. The Revival versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. Lumberjacks were everybody in the tag team division. You look at all the Lumberjacks and think, man, nothing but fucking jobbers. The tag team division on Monday Night Raw is absolutely fucking god-awful. Absolutely god-awful. Now, the Revival came out with gear that were sporting the hashtag Fuck the Revival hashtag, FTR. I don't know why. I don't know if they did it as a play on words so that the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes and everybody in All Elite Wrestling see that yes, we're paying attention to you. Or if they're just having fun. Or if they really think that the WWE really feels fuck the Revival. Because that's what I get from this match. Fuck the Revival. This match was so fucking boring. The crowd was half asleep during it. It had no energy. The announcers did nothing to sell the importance of the tag team titles. Everybody looked or sounded in a comatose state. This match was fucking terrible. The match that they actually had last time we seen these two in the ring was a lot better than what we seen tonight or on Monday Night Raw last night. Now, Gable and Roode win. The thing is, Gable and Roode win by another dirty method. So, Gable avoids a double team here. Gable and Dawson trade pin attempts and submissions on the mat. Dash runs in, gets sent to the apron. Roode yanks him off. He hits the apron. Gable and Dawson trade pin attempts. Gable gets the pin, but Scott Dawson's foot was stuck on the bottom rope, and the referee did not see it. Gable and Roode win in another cheap way and retain the tag team championships. I have an issue with this. I really do. If you wanted change on Monday Night Raw, there was no better way for change to happen than changing the tag team championships. Yes, they would have meant nothing. Yes, the division is fucking god-awful, but at least it signifies change. Number 2, we've seen this match more times than I think people are genuinely interested in. WWE went with the fuck finish last time they were in the ring together, with the wrong man being pinned. Dash Wilder was pinned by Chad Gable. This time, Chad Gable pinned Scott Dawson, and his foot was on the rope. So that's 1 fuck finish, and now 2 fuck finish. How many more fuck finishes are we going to have to go through before this means any less? This is over. I have zero interest in seeing these two teams go back and forth. The Revival, yes, they're getting screwed over, and yes, this is WWE's lame attempt at continuing this unimportant, uninteresting title feud, but the Revival have been screwed ever since they got demoted from NXT. So what is the difference from being legitimately screwed to screwed storyline-wise? I don't get it. This is doing nothing but prolonging unimportance. I genuinely don't understand what's happening here. But the main thing is, if this was a hot feud with some personal fucking agenda behind it, if there was interest from the fans, it would matter. This happened and nothing felt important. Nothing mattered. The fuck finish happened and they went right to commercial in the next segment. What a great way to make the tag team titles and what happened here, this travesty, feel important. I don't care. I don't really care. After the match, you got the Revival arguing with the Ascension. The Ascension was trying to talk to the referee. This was a fuck finish. This was a screw job. What happened here? You made the wrong call. Nothing. Absolutely nothing happened here. Just another fuck finish to prolong, I'm assuming, what will be a Royal Rumble pre-show match. And the Revival, I would rather them win on Monday Night Raw instead of the fucking Royal Rumble pre-show. It's more important if it happens on Monday Night Raw than a fucking pre-show that people more than likely will not care about. Elias is in the ring. Another guy who's sitting in the ring with a microphone proclaiming that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. He's in the ring and he's singing Baron Corbin a tune. Yeah, some change we're seeing so far on Monday Night Raw. No Revival Tag Team Champions. 6-man tag to open the show that meant nothing. Bobby Roode and Seth Rollins brawling to open the show, which felt somewhat different, but not so much than what we usually see. And now Elias and Baron Corbin. So this first hour and a half is, oh my God, so much change happening here on Monday Night Raw. Elias says that he's enjoyed his own success. It's been great to watch the failures of Baron Corbin. Elias is talking about how Corbin was riding this out, but now he's a joke. Elias begins performing a new song. He wrote about Corbin, but Corbin quickly comes out and interrupts from the stage with a microphone. Corbin says he's here to help the fans because we can't stand another mind-numbing performance from Elias. Corbin goes on about how he should have everyone's respect and admiration, but he doesn't, and it's because everyone just doesn't understand. Mr. Corbin, the only thing I don't understand is where this change is being felt on Monday Night Raw. I'd wish you'd tell me. You're an ex-GM. You might have an inside scoop. Where the fuck is the change? Corbin said that they would probably like to see him disappear and go away. I'd like to see Vince McMahon disappear and go away. Corbin announces himself for the Royal Rumble. Another guy. I'm in the Royal Rumble, guys. I'm in the Royal Rumble too. And he says, unlike Elias, he's actually going to win it and then main event WrestleMania. Yeah, maybe in WWE 2K19, but in real life, you stand zero chance. Baron Corbin versus Elias, if anyone watching this show gave a flying fuck, Baron Corbin won clean. I don't know why. Elias is somebody that should be positioned as a major player on this show, and he feels like a tired, boring, stale novelty act that goes nowhere. Now, I could see Elias being an Iron Man of sorts in the Royal Rumble. The guy needs to capitalize on what was a decent 2018. It wasn't as great as everybody thought it was for Elias. Oh, he was on TV. Oh, he was entertaining. But Elias, when you really boil it down, is a fucking loser. WWE Creative has done nothing to make this guy feel special. They've done nothing to make him feel important. They've done nothing to give him a big victory and give the fans a feeling of, this guy's a real deal. He's just there, he plays his guitar, he makes jokes, he sings songs, and that's it. So I don't see how this is going to advance Elias's career. And then you have him lose to Baron Corbin, who's been embarrassed every week since he's been fired. What sense did that make? If anybody needed a big win here, it was Elias. But I guess WWE thinks otherwise. Elias drops Corbin, goes to the top. Elias goes for a flying knee, but Corbin rolls out of the way. Corbin comes back in, drops Elias with a huge right hand. Corbin rams Elias into the ring post. End of days. Pin. 1, 2, 3. Corbin wins clean. I don't get it. Some change we're seeing here, WWE. Some change. This was one of the more eye-opening things that I think I've seen on Monday Night Raw in many, many, many years. I am not going to play the promo because I'm sure WWE edited it very heavily. But you guys, if you were watching, you know what I'm talking about. This was the most uncomfortable I have ever seen Braun Strowman. And this is one of the, I guess, better times in which we looked at Brock Lesnar's body language and he emitted such an I don't give a fuck attitude, more so than I could ever remember him doing. Now, I had little to zero interest to begin with in Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. I just didn't give a shit. I didn't give a shit coming out of Crown Jewel. I was glad that Lesnar buried Braun Strowman at Crown Jewel because we all knew that Braun Strowman wasn't ready and he will never be ready. So WWE devised this storyline with Baron Corbin going into TLC. If Braun Strowman wins, he gets a Universal Championship match against Brock Lesnar at an event of his choosing. Thus, we get the Royal Rumble match. So there you go. First of all, it was Stephanie McMahon promising Braun Strowman a match with Brock Lesnar if he helped Team Raw win at the Survivor Series, but WWE in typical fashion made all of that seem like it never fucking happened or it was never said. So then we go on to the next pay-per-view because WWE's lacking ideas. So they just moved from the Survivor Series and just added that stipulation on top of the match at TLC. And here we are at the Royal Rumble. Zero interest. Okay? Braun Strowman lost to Brock Lesnar in less than 10 minutes at Great Balls of Fire in 2017. Or was it No Mercy? I'm sorry. Joe was Great Balls of Fire. No Mercy in 2017. What happened there? That was an opportunity for WWE to give Braun Strowman the WWE Universal Championship, and they did not do it. They didn't strike while the iron was hot. They go with the Roman Reigns initiative. Roman gets not only Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, but Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. They finally pull the trigger at SummerSlam in one of the most unceremonious fucking moments in WWE history. He is now the Universal Champion. Comes down Monday Night Raw one night, relinquishes the title, goes away for leukemia. We have now a vacated Universal Championship at Crown Jewel. So now we get Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar again. And he loses again. This time in less than 10 minutes. Due to 5 F5s. So, going into this third match now with Brock Lesnar, just based on what had happened already, does Braun Strowman stand a chance against Brock Lesnar? Does Braun Strowman look good in the eyes of the viewer? Of course not. And the most telling thing that we've ever seen as far as WWE portraying Braun Strowman happened on Monday night. WWE put Braun Strowman in such a terrible fucking position that as long as I am alive and breathing and watching Monday Night Raw, as long as Braun Strowman is on Monday Night Raw, I will never, ever look at Braun Strowman as a man that A, could carry this show, B, become a Universal Champion or a WWE Champion. Braun Strowman was so exposed on Monday Night Raw that it will forever haunt him. Seriously. The guy was exposed as being nothing more than a one-trick pony. Believe me, I don't want to sound like a fucking hypocrite. And there'll be some fucking idiot in the comments who's going to say, JD, you sound like a hypocrite. Weren't you praising Braun Strowman just a couple years ago? Yes, I was. But that was when WWE was booking him the right way. That was when WWE did not have the Roman initiative to bury Braun Strowman. They turned the guy heel, they fucked everything up as far as momentum goes, and he was never the same man. So now we look at Braun Strowman compared to what Braun Strowman was a year and a half ago, and it's not the same guy. They exposed Braun Strowman to a point where this guy will never be a guy that could main event WrestleMania, be put in a big match situation, carry a brand, or be a legit champion. The guy's a one-trick pony. And I don't want to hear shit about, oh, this guy's not champion, or Nakamura's never champion because of his mic skills. Braun Strowman's mic skills are one-dimensional at best. Get these hands, blah, blah, blah. Whoever wrote Braun Strowman's promo on Monday Night Raw should be shot dead. I don't know who the fuck wrote that shit. A trained chimpanzee could do better. A fucking second grader with fucking crayon-only skills could write a better fucking promo. This is the promo that you're going to come to me with against Brock Lesnar. Yelling at the top of your lungs, Brock, get these hands, and whatever else he fucking said. Let me see. Let's play it. Just for shits and giggles, let's play it.
A monster standing in the ring, looking for a face-to-face confrontation. Is that what you're doing,
Brock Lesnar's
Mr.
looking in.
Strowman?
He's not even looking in the camera.
I know you were brought up in your household as a monster, but permit me, sir, to give you a bit of an education.
Oh, he's a monster.
I know how
But
much money
my client
they
is
have
a
spent
beast.
tonight hyping.
This is how you're selling a
Brock
championship match?
Lesnar face to face with his victim at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view event, Braun Strowman. But here's the lesson you need to learn from history: card subject to change, and that change
in the face-to-face confrontation is for your benefit, Mr. Strowman. Because if Brock Lesnar came down to that ring to get those hands, he wouldn't have an opponent at the Royal Rumble event. He would just have another victim looking up from the canvas at the beast Brock Lesnar. Let this be a lesson learned. No reason, Braun Strowman, to thank Brock Lesnar. No reason to thank me. Hey, you're welcome.
Brock, do you ever think your advocate's ass ever gets jealous of all the crap that comes out of his mouth?
Who the fuck wrote that
all
line?
I'm hearing is blah, blah, blah. Brock Lesnar is afraid of Braun Strowman.
How is Brock Lesnar afraid of Braun Strowman? How? Has WWE done anything for the viewer to have them think that Braun Strowman should even be in this match? Legitimately, hey. Have they done anything for the viewer for them to think that Brock Lesnar is afraid of Braun? Why would he be afraid of a guy he's beaten twice now in less than 10 minutes each time? And by 10 minutes each time, I mean manhandled. No wonder Brock Lesnar standing there laughing in an I don't give a fuck body language attitude. Brock Lesnar's probably thinking, again with this guy? A, I don't give a shit. B, he doesn't deserve it. Why do I have to waste my fucking time? This is clearly, he's looking at Braun Strowman as one big fucking paycheck. This is a waste of everybody's time. And Braun Strowman's dialogue did nothing to make this match feel important whatsoever.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. That's all I hear
Lesnar
when this fucking guy
doesn't wanna be
talks.
face to face with the monster among men. Well, I'm right here, Brock, and you're up there hiding on that screen like a coward.
This dialogue is not...
You should probably thank Paul for keeping you back there, because if you came down here right now, you ain't making it to the Royal Rumble.
Nothing. You know, it's so awful. I don't know what else to say. Everything that comes out of Braun Strowman's mouth now, it's the same old gibberish. It has absolutely no meaning. And honestly, the way that they should have did this match, and all Brock Lesnar did was say, can we go home? He was telling Paul, can we go home? And then after a while, he's like, you know what? I'm interested to see what this guy's got to say. I'm going to take the title. I'm going to go out to the ring. So all he does is go out to the ring. He circles the ring, and Brock Lesnar walks away with the championship. You don't have to get in the ring with Braun Strowman. This was one of the worst builds, one of the worst segments that the Universal Championship has ever seen. It did nothing to excite people about the match coming up at the Royal Rumble. It made Braun Strowman look fucking terrible. It exposed him for everything that we all knew he was following his heel turn and then just quick babyface turn once again once Roman went down. The guy is not at the top of the show and will never be championship material. Simple. Now, what would have been effective for these two guys would have been sitting them down in a real MMA-style promo. Sitting them down together. Maybe at like a table moderated by Paul Heyman or moderated by Corey Graves or something like that. You know, with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman on one side and Braun Strowman on the other. Or one of these sit-down interviews that we sometimes see Brock Lesnar do. The sit-down interviews that I'm talking about. You know, when we seen Shayna Baszler and who was it? Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon on NXT. Or Samoa Joe and whoever else that he was feuding with, Finn Balor or someone in NXT. They had these sit-down interviews moderated by, you know, William Regal or somebody there. You know, Nigel McGuinness. Or one of the interviewers. Sit down in a darkened room, lights on both guys, both competitors, and just moderate between both of them with no crowd. Braun Strowman sounded fucking terrible. I don't know how many people are interested in this match, but My God, giving Braun Strowman the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble is 1,000% a fucking mistake. Brock Lesnar should be the one to go into WrestleMania as the WWE Universal Champion. Brock Lesnar should drop the title to one of the rumored opponents that have been going around to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, whether it be a Seth Rollins, whether it be a Drew McIntyre, whether it be an AJ Styles coming over from SmackDown Live, and AJ wins the Royal Rumble. If he could somehow find his way in there after his Daniel Bryan match, anything is better than having Braun Strowman go into WrestleMania. If you are going to give the title to Braun Strowman to walk into WrestleMania with, that is the worst fucking decision possible, because none of it speaks to me as being WrestleMania. This, I will say it once, and I will say it again, and I'm sure I will say it again after today. Braun Strowman was exposed. Whoever is writing his promos needs to get this fee-fi-fo-fum giant bullshit out of the fucking way. It's not working. It's the same old shtick. Get these hands. You're a coward. I'm a monster. I'm big. If that is what you're going with to build this guy up as a championship caliber competitor on this show, it ain't gonna last. It ain't gonna last. And if he does win the championship, I see nothing more than a transitional role, and he loses it inside the Elimination Chamber. This was fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. Apollo Crews and Ember Moon versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. Were you watching? I wasn't. Do I know who won? I don't give a fuck. Do I know what happened in the match? Of course I don't. Apollo and Ember Moon win. I don't understand how this signifies change. What is this shit? Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss. Debut of Moment of Bliss. Ronda Rousey's our guest. This was another awful set. Why is Alexa Bliss on television? I mean, how is this A, change? B, why is Alexa Bliss there if she's not really cleared to compete? Like, I don't understand. You could see the favoritism just fucking seeping from WWE. Oh, Alexa Bliss needs to be on television. How can we get her on television? Oh, that's right. Let's give her her own talk show. Nobody else got a fucking talk show when they're injured. You don't see Kevin Owens on fucking TV doing the KO show. I don't understand this shit. Why? Why is this a thing? This led to nothing but an absolutely garbage promo from Ronda Rousey. Garbage.
Ronda, tell us about your exceptional year and what's next for you.
Well, this year has been extraordinary. It really has. But as the Raw Women's Champion, I really want to look forward and not back. And
first of all, wasn't Alexa Bliss just months ago?
You guys can all be proud of. And in order to do that, I need to chase after my limits with a vengeance.
Wasn't Alexa Bliss months ago calling this woman a fucking overrated rookie and an overhyped superstar, someone who doesn't deserve her spot? And yet she's just sitting there next to Alexa Bliss, just cordially speaking in a way that you would talk to your significant other over a nice candlelit dinner. What is this shit? Nobody has any issues with this. Oh, look, it's Alexa Bliss on television.
And there's one woman who's pushed everyone in that locker room to their absolute limit in that ring. I'm talking about someone with more athleticism in her little finger than Charlotte Flair has in her whole body. I'm talking about a woman with a more harrowing story with Becky Lynch. I'm talking about a woman that puts my love for this business to shame because she is this business. I'm talking about the real Cinderella story, the real Rocky Balboa of the women's division. I'm talking about the unsung hero of Monday Night Raw, Sasha Banks.
What? I don't know where this came from.
Sasha Banks? I thought you were talking about me.
I mean, cue
Yeah, that's the reaction I get when I watch this fucking show and Nia Jax.
Leave and have you and Sasha have like a moonlight dinner or something? Sounds like somebody's got a girl crush on Sasha Banks. Aren't you
Nia
forgetting
is
about
so
somebody?
awful.
I mean, I know you'd like to forget about me, but we have some unfinished business. Now look, at TLC, I wasn't my best, but that was way back in 2018. And I'm like, new year, new me, right? Right? She's right, she knows I'm right. Seth Rollins is getting a rematch tonight. I think I'm entitled to my rematch as well. When am I gonna get it?
Yeah, but you did nothing for it. I don't understand this. At least Seth Rollins, by the way, Seth Rollins, we'll talk about him in a second, because what he said at a house show made no sense. That led into Monday Night Raw. But Rollins, now, you know, I do have an issue with Rollins getting an Intercontinental Championship match on this show, but Rollins at least pinned the fucking Intercontinental Champion in a match earlier in the night. So Nia Jax coming out, proclaiming, when am I getting my rematch? What the fuck did you do? Did WWE forget about what they said? The antiquated rematch clause, but Nia Jax, or maybe Nia Jax wasn't paying attention. I don't fucking blame her. Because this show was terrible. What the fuck did you do to warrant a title match? None of what she said made any sense whatsoever. So, obviously, my reaction to watching this is, what the fuck am I listening to?
Wow, Ronda, I am beyond extremely honored for those amazing kind words. And you're absolutely right. It is better to look ahead and not back. And I am standing right here in front of you saying that I would love to face you for the Raw Women's Championship. Because it will also be my absolute pleasure to teach you how to lose with dignity and class.
Wait, hold up. Excuse me. Excuse me. There is a 300.5-ounce Samoan standing right in front of you that can rip your face off. No. I could break your face. So why don't you get in line? Back there.
What line?
Oh, man. She said, bitch, what line? And that was the best I think I've heard Sasha Banks in 12 fucking months. That is the end. That was just for a moment, the NXT version of Sasha Banks. Bitch, what line? There is no line, man. I don't know what line Nia's talking. She may be talking about the fucking line at McDonald's, but she ain't talking about no fucking line for the Women's Championship. So Sasha put her right in her place. Bitch, what line? There is no line. This made zero sense as far as Nia Jax goes. Nia Jax can't come out asking for rematches. Clearly she wasn't watching Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago when Shane McMahon got rid of the automatic rematch clause. So yet they have Nia Jax go out there scripted to say, I want my rematch. This makes zero sense. It insults the fans' intelligence, and it makes the show that much more fucking terrible week in and week out when they don't realize what they did just a couple of weeks ago. Now, Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey is a great match for the Royal Rumble. I don't expect Sasha Banks to lose clean to Ronda Rousey. I expect some sort of fuck finish. I expect, like I mentioned on Off the Script a couple of weeks ago, that this is a perfect match because it plants the seed ever so gently of a 4 horsewomen versus horsewomen feud in WWE potentially later this year, which I'm predicting will happen at the Survivor Series. That is the likelihood, the latest, the absolute latest, I would do that match. Now, out of everybody else on the roster for Ronda Rousey to wrestle, Sasha Banks was probably the only one. There is only one downfall to this. I mention this every single time I talk about Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey is the Raw Women's Champion. She's not losing that championship before WrestleMania, so everybody not named Becky or Charlotte is pretty much going to be walking into a path of destruction. Ronda is walking into WrestleMania with the Raw Women's Championship. Now, I would love if Sasha Banks is looked at as a strong contender here. I hope that she goes into this looking good, comes out looking even better. Sasha deserves a shot at Ronda because she hasn't been given a shot at Ronda yet. Meanwhile, everybody else on the women's roster has. Everybody. Everyone has mixed up with Ronda Rousey except Bayley and Sasha Banks, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Ember Moon, Nia Jax on more than one occasion, Alexa Bliss on more than one occasion, Natty. Did I say Alicia Fox? Every single woman on the Raw roster has mixed up with Ronda Rousey. Sasha Banks is not. Now, in my eyes, Sasha Banks is the best in-ring performer on Monday Night Raw in that women's division. WWE needs to have Ronda Rousey ready 100% for WrestleMania. There is no better opportunity for them to build Ronda Rousey on an in-ring perspective than putting her in the ring with the best, Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is going to make, she's going to be proud of this moment that she's finally in the ring with Ronda Rousey. You don't think that woman's going to be proud of being in the ring with Ronda Rousey? You got another thing coming. Number two, she's going to be so proud. That's going to translate into, I need to put my best foot forward. Sasha Banks, no doubt about it, is going to use this as a reason to not only make herself look credible, but she's going to use this as a way to shut everybody else up that doesn't believe she should be in the position that she's in. All of her detractors, meaning WWE management. I love this. She's going to go in there and make Ronda Rousey look like $1 million. She will. And I can't wait to see what the end result is. I'm excited for this match. Even though it came about in the most lackluster way possible, I'm excited for this match. This is something that's going to do a lot of good for Ronda, for Sasha, and it's going to plant the seeds ever so gently for that 4 horsewomen feud coming on to WWE television sooner rather than later. And who knows? Who knows? Ronda took a shot at Charlotte and Becky. And Sasha is friends with Charlotte and Becky, even though they are on 2 different brands. Sasha may turn into NXT Sasha in the middle of that match, and she may take one for the team. Or she may go batshit crazy like Charlotte and Becky did on Ronda Rousey. Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? We may see the same end result with Sasha getting some sort of payback for what she did, Ronda, to Becky and Charlotte at TLC. Because they really can't mix it up, being that they're on separate brands. I love it. I think this is great. How it came about was awful. Nia Jax is fucking awful, and we'll talk about how awful Nia Jax is in a minute. This led to Sasha Banks and Nia Jax for a #1 contendership for Ronda Rousey's Raw Women's Championship at the Royal Rumble. This match was absolutely fucking painful to the eyes. And how Nia Jax has a job with this company as an in-ring performer is an absolute fucking disgusting, nauseating aspect of this company. This woman is so fucking terrible at her job, I don't even know how people can call her a professional wrestler. And it all took one moment for me to really fucking just utter those words and never look back on taking them back. There was a moment in this match where I don't know who the fuck booked this spot, to begin with. But there was a moment on the apron where Sasha Banks was about to go for a Hurricane Rana. So Jax runs into the ring post in the later stages of this match. So we got Bayley and Snuka arguing on the outside. That leads to a brawl. So they get into it. Jax charges on the apron, but Banks moves. She runs into the ring post. They end up on the apron. Now, Banks tries to bring Jax to the floor with a Hurricane Rana, but Banks landed face first on the floor. Hey, I don't know how Sasha... First of all, I don't know who the fuck produced this match with that spot in it. Nia Jax was not flipping over in a Hurricane Rana going to sell that move properly. So I don't know what the fuck that was. I don't know if that was supposed to be the way it was, the way we seen it on Monday Night Raw with Sasha hitting face first, or if Nia Jax completely no-sold the move and said, fuck this shit. I'm going to go with the latter. Because Nia Jax is unsafe, she's a fucking bumbling fool, and the woman does not belong in a wrestling ring. This match was terrible. And Nia Jax has the balls to come out on social media and call out WWE's Twitter handle because they put a collage of 4 different pictures, all including white women of WWE. She comes out and takes a political stance on it. What about women of fucking color? Bitch, you were in the main event or the semi-main event of everything women's related, women's division related, for the entirety of 2018. Who the fuck cares if you're in a meaningless collage of pictures on Twitter or not? And here you are, again in a big match situation with Sasha Banks for the right to fight Ronda Rousey at the Royal Rumble. None of this makes any sense to me. And I don't know how people could sit there idly and just say, whatever. There's a clear fucking issue here. WWE doesn't remember what they said weeks ago. Nia Jax is fucking terrible. A moment of bliss is a complete waste of fucking time. None of this at all matter to me. Ever. It's not going to matter. It will never matter. I'm not interested in any of these characters. Just get me to WrestleMania and get Becky with her WrestleMania main event, and let's move on from this fucking bullshit. Because the only thing right now that's interesting in the women's division is Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte. And 2 of those women are on SmackDown Live. WWE is just biding their time to get Ronda through the Royal Rumble and onto WrestleMania. Nia Jax does not belong in another championship match ever, and B, her only role coming up is in the Royal Rumble with an elimination waiting for her by the hands of Becky Lynch. Simple. It's not that difficult to script out. Falls Count Anywhere match for the Intercontinental Championship. This was fucking terrible. I'm sorry. There was nothing interesting about this match whatsoever. Crowd was dead. None of this mattered to me whatsoever. So Seth Rollins comes out on a house show this past weekend, proclaims himself to be in the Royal Rumble. He states, I have bigger and better things on my mind. I want to be in the Royal Rumble. I'm proclaiming myself in the Royal Rumble. I'm going to go on to WrestleMania and main event for the Universal Championship. I want Brock Lesnar. Here he comes out, and apparently he still has an issue with Dean Ambrose after saying to everybody, oh, it didn't happen on live TV, that he's got bigger and better things planned, but here he is wanting Dean Ambrose in the Intercontinental Championship. First of all, speaking of that, it's got to be a great thing for WWE superstars to, wrestle in the company in 2019. You got to literally do nothing to get another rematch for a championship. Seth Rollins, let's chronicle what he did. He wanted a rematch against Dean Ambrose following that atrocious match at TLC. So Triple H says, I'm going to give you the almighty Bobby Lashley. If you beat Bobby Lashley, then you would gain entry into another Intercontinental Championship match against Dean Ambrose. Seth Rollins lost. Seth Rollins lost by DQ because he let his emotions get the best of him. So now here we are on this week's show, and all he did was pin Dean Ambrose and get an Intercontinental Championship match in a Falls Count Anywhere match. So that's all it takes. There's no work involved. Back in the old days, you got to get in line and beat competitor A, competitor B, competitor C, and then you get a number 1 contender match, and boom, then you get your Intercontinental Championship match leading up to the pay-per-view. They don't do things like that anymore, which takes away value from the Intercontinental Championship or said championship. It's too easy of a path for these guys in modern-day WWE to get a title shot. I don't understand. First of all, I would rather this match happen on Monday Night Raw. So let me get this out of the way. Then again at the Royal Rumble. But being that we got an interference here from Bobby Lashley, I'm assuming we're going to get this again at the Royal Rumble. So at the end of this thing, we have Rollins hit the stomp, and Kevin Dunn uses his weird camera angles to a point where you can't see what's going on. All of a sudden, you see the crowd fucking start making noise. Lashley comes in after Rollins pins Dean Ambrose with the stomp, and Lashley breaks up the pinfall, pulls him outside. Lashley scoops Rollins and rams him into the barricade. Lio Rush looks on. They just continue the beatdown on Rollins. Dominator in the middle of the ring. Lashley starts to stalk Rollins on the outside as Lio Rush gets a table on the outside. All of this is going down in the ring, and Ambrose pins Rollins 1, 2, 3. So, like I said, Lio Rush gets a table on the outside, pulls it out from underneath the ring, and he delivers a spine buster to Rollins, does Lashley, through the table, and that's the way Monday Night Raw goes off the air. So Monday Night Raw, the first Monday Night Raw of 2019, closes the show with Bobby Lashley standing tall in the middle of the ring. You want the change, folks. You got no change. Nothing about this show changed. This show was awful in every fucking sense of the word. There was absolutely nothing about this show that was positive outside of John Cena and Drew McIntyre's interaction and Mean Gene Okerlund and Hulk Hogan's tribute to Mean Gene. That was it. Everything else on this show was absolutely fucking nauseating. No change, no new theme music, no pyro. The commentary is absolutely insufferable. Renee Young is god-awful at what she does. I don't give a fuck who hears me or who has a problem with what I say. She is fucking god-awful. Michael Cole makes everything sound so fucking uninteresting. There's nothing in his voice that brings importance to anything. If you wanted change, Morrow should have been on this show as the voice of Raw. You were in Orlando, of all fucking places. You couldn't give me one fucking debut? I had people who watched the show there telling me EC3 and Lacey Evans debuted on the show before Raw for the main event taping. Are you fucking kidding me? Now, I don't know why WWE opted to put them on main event before Raw. They're in Orlando. It's the home of NXT. It's the home of the PC and Full Sail University. You'd think that maybe if you ushered out EC3 or Lacey Evans, it would have freshened up the show a little bit. And they probably would have got a good reaction being that it's in Orlando. I don't get it. There's no effort for change on this show. None. We're seeing the same bullshit every fucking segment. No change. No change whatsoever. What about WWE? Absolutely changing. Maybe Monday Night Raw could have featured some NXT talent. Outside of the fucking shit that you've been advertising for 4 weeks now. Maybe you could have had a nice little block of NXT talent on the show to freshen things up. Nothing about this signified change. Nothing. And then there'll be people in the comments making excuses that, oh, this show was decent. This show was good. What did this show do as far as change goes? And then when you watch the All-In rally, the Double or Nothing rally, the All Elite Wrestling press conference today, and you see Kenny Omega sitting there signing with All Elite Wrestling, then you wonder why he didn't sign with the WWE after they made every attempt in the book to sign this guy to their company. You have this show to reference. Why would you want Kenny Omega to come to the WWE after watching this fucking atrocity? Why? He's going to watch this shit and his decision's going to be made for him. Vince is making the decision much easier for him. This show sucks. There's no change. I don't give a fuck what bowl game was on last night. WWE should just block out everything else that's happening outside of WWE. None of it matters. None of it matters. I don't give a fuck what's going on. Tonight Trump is speaking. I don't care. I don't care. You're live. You do what is best for your show. You do what is best for your audience. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about Trump. I don't give a fuck about the bowl games. I don't give a fuck about the NFL playoffs. I don't care. I don't care. Do what you need to do to make this show better. Clearly, after the holidays, they're still hungover. Nothing about this show has changed. Nothing will change. And everybody that stood there after Vince McMahon said all this shit and ate it up like fucking ice cream, you slobs, I hope you look yourselves in the mirror and think, wow, I'm a fucking idiot for thinking that there's going to be change. Who's laughing now? I told you there wasn't going to be any change. And here we are. First Raw of 2019. And I gave them till January 7th. And no change was seen at all. None. God-awful edition of Monday Night Raw. And it continues to get worse. Good. Kenny, All Elite. Look at tonight's show. And you'll realize that your decision is far easier than anybody anticipates. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Thank you guys so very much. I will see you tonight for SmackDown Live. Until then, I guess have a good day. I'll see you guys for the All-In Double or Nothing Elite Press Conference. I'll be live on Twitch. JD from New York on Twitch. If you guys want to hang out, we'll be live streaming it there. Full live reactions to everything that Cody and the Bucks are going to talk about for All Elite Wrestling, man. Follow me on Twitter, at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. And I'll see you guys on SmackDown Live tonight. Let's see and hope for change on SmackDown Live. I'll see you guys then.